Yup, this is about as normal as the gameplay is gonna get. Welcome to Risk of Rain 2, a game that has gone under my radar for way too long. No, I know that ain't saying much, seeing how much of a gamer I am, but still, this game is simply awesome, and the Steam ratings are overwhelmingly positive just as expected. So without further ado, grab a drink, grab a snack, and let's get right into the gameplay. Risk of Rain 2 is a roguelike like any other. First thing you'd notice is the characters. The game provides you with 12 of them, 10 of which are unlockable. They usually have 4 abilities, a primary, secondary, special, and ultimate, with some even having a few passives. As such, they vary in playstyle and can be anything from chipping away at someone up close and personal to blasting a railgun from as far as humanly possible. Every character also has unlockable abilities that need very specific requirements to complete. There are also achievements, which explains why some of the rarest achievements aren't beating the game at its hardest point, but getting an ability for a character nobody plays. When you eventually pick your character, you'll get sent straight into the game. You come crashing down in the shuttle, get severe brain damage, and immediately get jumped. After dealing with the absolute goddamn light work enemies, you'll notice their lunch money hanging in your pockets. With it, you can open these conveniently placed containers that yield upgrades. They vary in effects from health to damage and are ranked in rarities, with red being the least likely, so you better say your prayers before unlocking one, although I really doubt their rarity sometimes. Once you've driven the creatures of the biome into extinction, you'll probably notice the ominous structure with an altar in the middle of it. Activating it spawns a boss who will turn you into mincemeat. Beating the boss and charging up the portal will send you to the next levels. This repeats for a bit until you reach the Sky Meadows, where the portal looks a bit odd. Here you can find an artificial portal. Looks like you can insert the code here. What could that possibly mean? Actually, if you looked a little more closely around each level, or if you looked it up, you can find secret codes that resemble what goes onto the machine. Inserting them opens the portal and brings you to this lodge. Welcome to the Bulwark's Embry, a small arena with a big ass orb in the middle of it. Completing its challenge and exploding it into a billion pieces will get you an artifact, a game changing item that can be activated before the start of a playthrough. It sets some new rules for the game. Most of them are just to make your runs a little more unique, although I did abuse the artifact as command to bypass some annoying obstacles. Anyways, back to the meadows. The altar here is configurable. In case you haven't lost all your brain cells, you have the chance to go back to the start and do it all over again, with enemies further increasing in difficulty, or you can head to the finale. You spawn into a maximalist's worst nightmare, a completely empty room, or in in-game terms, you're on Petrichor 5, the moon of the planet that beat you into a pulp. Once you've exited the chamber, which can take up to a whole ass exaggerated minute, you'll step out to a beautiful construct that will burn out your 0 vitamin D eyes. Here you'll find the rescue ship that came to get your sorry ass out of here, except it's covered in a water-like barrier, which means you gotta figure out a way in. The key to this is these beacons. They're definitely not from Minecraft shooting up into the sky. The beacons are pillars that come into 4 forms: mass, design, soul, and blood. Interacting with them spawns enemies that try to eliminate you before you can charge the pillar up. Now the pillars aren't different in just their looks. Each of them has a unique property. The pillar of mass takes way too fucking long to charge up. The pillar of design smacks you away once you get into its personal space. The pillar of souls charges really fast but shrinks in its area. And worst of all, the pillar of blood sucks out your health in exchange to charging up. Since you only need 4 of them at a time, and since there's usually a shit ton that spawn, I often avoid the blood pillars entirely. After you're done with this task, it's not over yet. A few paths light up, jumping on them launches you into the sky. I swear, if someone even mentions Fortnite, I'm gonna lose it. And here's your mother's backend. Approaching it will spawn him, Mithrix, King of Nothing. Pretty flashy name for a flashy guy, and unlike anyone who would in their right minds name themselves the Kings of Nothing, he is no joke. Mans will completely stomp you with his trusty hammer, which is something I found out the hard way, and apart from his hammer, he has a few more cool attacks, a mouth of a CSGO player, and like any other final boss, too many phases. The audacity of the dude is insane. Not only does he square up, then lose and let the dogs out, he comes back after forging his hammer with a Nokia phone, making it slightly more deadly, gets his ass beaten again, and then proceeds to steal your items like he's Romanian, but finally, after you teach him a lesson a third time, he falls over and the moon starts collapsing. I don't know the lore behind this, but I guess the moon is his life support or something, and I just pulled the plug. So yeah, the moon's about to explode and we have about 3 minutes to get the hell out. While on the run back to the getaway vehicle, you'll get jumped by a few tentacle crawlers that'll try to kamikaze you out when you beat them. But other than that, it should be smooth sailing. Waddle your way back to the ship, charge it up, and leave. So that's it, right? You beat the game. Well no, there are lots of side quests to do and unlocks to get. There are even extensions / secrets that I never even got to mention, like Void and Lunar items, with Void corrupting a specific item in exchange for an OP replacement, and Lunar items that suck ass in my opinion. They usually nerf one stat into the ground and buffing another in exchange. Safe to say I'm all Void and no Lunar. You can find them just randomly around the map or by doing events. Void has a badass dead zone where you have to kill Void creatures to deactivate it, and Lunar has a shop. To get to the shop you have to find one of many new altars stationed around, and inserting a pineapple slice, you'll get a blue orb around the altar. So once you've done the teleporter event, a new portal will spawn that will take you to the shop. Now wait, that isn't the only orb and portal you can find, there's a few more, like the gold orb that makes you fight a Midas wannabe, or the celestial orb that tells you to keep yourself safe. However, there is another portal you can find inside the shop dimension. When you spawn in, there's a massive pit below you. Jumping down and breaking your shins, you will find an entrance leading to a lean portal that will take you to the Void. Now this is most likely where you get the Void friend character, and as you can see, I haven't gotten very far in the Void area. It's safe to say I won't be completing it anytime soon. Now if you have eyes or have been listening for the past 7 minutes, damn, yeah, there's no way that some of you have, but if you were keeping an eye on what's going on screen, you've probably noticed that I've been playing on the easiest difficulty. Now, I have an explanation. The person who first introduced me to this insanity simulator had a warning for me, and to say the least, I decided to tread carefully, but I guess my mans was on some other shit when playing, because the drizzle difficulty not only gives you a major regen buff, it also protects you from the main feature of this game. Don't take your goddamn time. Why? Because the longer you take, the more psychotic the game gets. It goes from your standard difficulties to literal insanity. But as you could probably tell, I was completely ignoring this. So after playing on the easy difficulty for a while, I thought I'd step it up a bit and switch it up to Monsoon. You know, just a tad bit more difficult, and I'm sure it'll go just fine. And as the name probably doesn't suggest, it is no joke, it is the complete and utter opposite of Drizzle, decreasing your regen, effectively making you a hemophiliac, and drastically decreasing the time it takes for the difficulty to spike. So with that taken into account, let me once more ignore the time factor and move on to the more vital part, health. In the regular difficulty, the base regen already doesn't help out as much, and as you can probably tell, it's even worse in Monsoon. Therefore, you have to be reliant on the RNG drops from containers, which doesn't really bring my hopes up, since you can't expect the container to have the type of item you need, other than the health specific containers. Or not, I guess maybe this will be the run? Never mind, I guess red items aren't gonna help that much, even if I get 3 of them. But there is a way to get lots of great survivability items without that much RNG. The 3D printers, so far they were a station that I was completely avoiding, since it took away some of your items just to give you one of the same rarity, practically not even an upgrade. However, there is one item that's worth sacrificing all your others for. The Tough Times upgrade gives you a chance to negate a hit, and stacking them will further increase this probability, skyrocketing my chance of surviving fatal damage. With that in mind, I kept on pushing. After a few unsuccessful attempts, I was ready to give up, but I've already put too much effort into this to give up early. So after some more valiant efforts, I present to you the run. And yeah, that's how I became an average Risk of Rain 2 player. In all honesty, this video took a lot longer to make than I thought it would, so if you're one of the very few people who got to watch this video and got this far, you may as well subscribe. I'm gonna try putting out more different types of videos. Kinda just wanted to upload something that isn't Valorant. But anyways, that will be all for today. Don't got much else to say, so I hope you enjoyed and have a good one. Peace.